Hello, it's Karen here, Kazina, and I'm just going to do a video called 16 Things That You Probably Don't Know About Me. I just thought I'd share some stuff with you. Excuse my attire. I can't believe I wore this to work today. I look like I'm going to break into "Are you going to San Francisco and wear a flower in her hair?" I do, don't I? Like a 60s throwback. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to do a little video on 16 things that you might not know about me, and I've got a little piece of paper here because I might forget about myself. Number one, I'm terrified of roller coasters. Yeah, I'm really bad. Do not put me on a roller coaster. It's not good. I lose all my decorum completely. I not last year, year before, my sister took me to Fort Park, and I told her, you know, please sis, you know, I'm not good. You'll be alright, you'll be alright. And basically I screamed like a baby, and I proceeded to throw up in front of everybody, and generally was terrified. But my sister has now said that next time we go somewhere like that, that I'm to hold the bags and watch everybody else. So yeah, roller coasters, terrified. I'd rather walk through a graveyard at night, I think. Which leads me on to number two, really. I used to be a painter and decorator for a while, for a couple of years actually. I was a painter and decorator. Why, you ask? If you know, because I'm not mad with heights now. I'm not great. So I don't know. Do you know what? I don't like going up ladders or anything. But I was a lot younger, and maybe I was a lot braver back then. And it was a great job. I actually really enjoyed it. But I got laid off in the end, so that was the end of that. So consequently, anyway, I can paint my own house if I so need to. I'm very handy like that. Number three, I can't drive. I've never driven a car. I had a few lessons many moons ago, but I didn't think I was very good at it. When it comes to driving, I'm just not confident, and I don't think it's going to happen now. I'm far too long in the tooth for it. But yeah, I don't drive. I briefly had a moped about 10 years ago. I had a moped for a while to take myself to and from work. I thought that was going to be a great idea, and it all went swimmingly for a while. And then on the way home from work, I decided to daydream, which I do a lot, and I daydreamed myself into a lamppost, and ended up being out of work for 2 months. Yeah, my shoulder's still not right to this day, really, on my knee. So that put me off as well. So I don't drive. I'm not a person to put behind a vehicle, I think. Number four, I have an IQ of 137. Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it. I got it tested once, and I have an IQ of 137. God knows how, because I always pronounce things wrong and everything like that. But don't know. It's not everything, is it? You've got to have more common sense. It's more important. But there you go. It's a little fact about me. Oh, number five. Oh yeah, this is a really sad one. I was a big fan of the Eurythmics. You know the group, the Eurythmics, with Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart back in the day. A huge fan. I've still got all their LPs and everything. LPs, God, that dates me. And I was a big, huge fan, and they were in concert in London. And I couldn't get anybody to go with me. Nobody wanted to go with me. No one was a fan. And I ended up going on my own and watching a concert, which is kind of like a Billy No Mates kind of situation, isn't it? But there you go. I saw the Eurythmics on my own many moons ago. Number six. Oh yeah, I was a bit of an anorak when I was an early teen, sort of around 12, 13. I would class myself as a bit of an anorak, and I used to like bird watching. Yeah, seriously. My mum and dad had a caravan in Box Hill in Surrey, and used to go there, and it backed onto some lovely woods, and I been given some binoculars, and I used to go bird watching, and I used to write down all the birds that I saw and stuff like that, and I used to get really excited because I'd seen a pied flycatcher or a jay or something like that. So yeah, I'm a secret twitcher at heart, I think. Number 7. I can't read this, sorry. What's number 7? Oh yeah, I used to work, I worked for 10 years in a drug treatment centre. I absolutely loved the job. It was a great job. It's the best job I ever had in my life, and one day I'd love to get back to it. I have actually applied for jobs to work in that field again, but alas, it's not happened. But yeah, I worked in a drug treatment centre for 10 years, and it was a very interesting, rewarding, hard, challenging, you name it. It was all of that, but I absolutely loved it, and I worked with a great group of people, and I enjoyed most of it. We did have our ups and downs sometime, but it was a really good job. Number 8. Oh, I don't have any kids. That's number 8. I don't have any kids. I don't have kiddiwids. However, I do have a niece and a nephew, and I have an older nephew, but my niece and nephew are, my niece will be 7 next month, and my nephew is due to be 9 later on in the year, and I do dote on them both, and I have loads of toys here for you might have noticed, I think in the odd video that I've done, that you might see a little dolly in a pram behind, because my niece likes dollies. She likes really girly things, pink things. If it's pink, she likes it. And my nephew is into boy things, naturally. So I love them very much. Number 9. Oh, how I got my love of gaming. Well, I always had an interest in gaming. I can remember back in the day, when, you know, Pong first came out. I remember it. I was there. I was old enough to remember it when Pong came out. And I can remember the Atari, and I remember being around someone's house, I don't know whose it was, and they had Pong on the telly, and I remember playing it and just being so jealous that you know, we didn't have this at home, and why couldn't we have it, and you know, but I don't know, I just always loved gaming, and what really cemented it for me was probably when I was about 14 or 15. My cousin and my auntie and that, they moved downstairs to us in the house, and my cousin got a Spectrum, and I never looked back after that. I mean, you know, I used to go down and play it and watch him, and I used to be, you know, we used to just get so into the games. He had I think it was it Kung Fu, I'm not sure, but I can remember, you know, that if you were fighting this woman, when she fell on the ground, and it was all kind of yellow, right? It was no graphics really, but when she fell on the ground, her hair sort of fell and laid on the ground as well. And I remember me and my cousin like, look at that, look at the way her hair is on the ground. You know, we thought this was the best thing ever. And so really I owe a lot to the Specky, and I actually do own a Spectrum. I bought one, I'd say nearly 20 years ago at a boot sale, and it still works. I paid a £5 for it back then, and I got 10 games, and it still works. I very rarely use it, but I still have a Specky, and it does evoke very good memories for me. I can't read that either. Number 10, I love Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Asian films. I have a huge love for that type of film. I'm a big fan. One of my favourite directors is called Kenji Mitsuguchi, I hope I pronounced that right, and he produced some great films: The Life of Uhuru, Ugetsu, The Crucified Lovers, Shansho, The Bailiff. He was very kind of The Daughters of Xion, I think. He actually came across as a guy that for at that time, because I'm talking that he made films, you know, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and he came across as somebody that sympathised with women's plights in a lot of his films. You know, a lot of the films he did, you know, the women were either concubines that, you know, were no longer needed, and how they fared after they were cast aside. And like The Life of Uhuru is a very tragic story about this woman. And I just love that sort of film. There's also another director I love called Ozu, and he did Tokyo Story. He's a fabulous. The way he did the takes in the video in his films, the way he did the takes, he used to do it more. He used to do these takes all in just like one long cut. He didn't edit that much in a lot of his films. They're Japanese directors. I also love Chinese films. My favourite actress is Gong Li. I'm sure you've heard of it. She's been in a few English films, but she doesn't really translate very well, I think, acting and speaking English. She was in Hannibal Rising, and she was also in the awful Miami Vice, and she played a Cuban woman, and you know, if you watch that you think she was a terrible actress, but she's actually been in some fabulous films. Raise the Red Lantern, To Live, Farewell My Concubine, she was fabulous in that. Curse of the Golden Flower, I think her most recent one, and it's one of the only ones I haven't seen. I've seen all of her films bar two, and her most recent film is called Shanghai, and I haven't seen it yet. And there's also a film she's made years ago, and I can't remember the blooming title, it's gone out of my head. It was a kind of kung fu-y film, and she doesn't really do that sort of film. She's more of a serious actress. But you can't get hold of it. It's really, really hard. And I've got some of her really early stuff, like Mary from Beijing. Sounds funny, doesn't it? Mary from Beijing, which is just about her relationship with this guy. But she's a fabulous actress, and you know, check her out, man. Gong Li is the business. Anyway, I've babbled too much about my love of Asian film, haven't I? It's just that I really do like Asian film. Number 11. I hate rock music. I hate metal, slash, anything like that. I'm really sorry, guys. I just don't like that sort of music. I mean, my cousin is a fan of Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, The Faces, Deep Purple, all of them things. And what he doesn't know about those groups, you could write on the back of a stamp. He's got an extensive collection. He knows so much, and he's always saying, oh, watch this, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. I just can't stand it. I really can't. However, saying that, I absolutely love Jimi Hendrix. I loved him. I've loved him for years. I've actually got his LPs as well. I do. I love Jimi Hendrix. Purple Haze, Voodoo Child, Manic Depression, Castles Made of Sand. What's that other one? Crosstown Traffic. I'm not the only one accused of hit and run. Tire tracks all across your back. I can see you had your fun. Anyway, that was terrible, and it was done in an American accent. That was brutal. But yeah, I absolutely love Jimi Hendrix. And he's kind of rock, isn't he? Yeah. But anyway, there you go. Number 12. Oh yeah, when I was about 11, 12 years old, I used to belong to the Christopher Lee fan club. I'm an absolute I love Christopher Lee, and I really loved Hammer films when I was growing up, and I loved the Dracula films, and I just thought Christopher Lee was just the coolest dude in the world, and I think I wanted to marry him and everything. I just loved him to death, and I belonged to the Christopher Lee fan club for a few years, and I used to have a little badge as well. I always remember it was a little blue badge and it had red writing and it said Christopher Lee fan club, but alas I have it no more. But I do have his autograph, the big signed autograph, which I wish I'd it's under the bed or something. I do have a signed autograph, and my cousin actually met him when he was serving in a shop, not Christopher Lee now, my cousin, and got his autograph, and it says to Karen, my best, from Christopher Lee. So I'm right chuffed about that. So yeah, I was a big fan. Oh, number 13, I cry every time I watch E.T. It's true, I do. Every time I watch E.T., which I try not to too much, I always cry. I mean, when he's kind of taken away by the baddies and he looks like a little dusted truffle and he's in the rain and all that, that just starts me off. And at the end, when he says goodbye to Elliot, I can't cope. I just, you know, I've pulled my t-shirt over my face and everything in front of people because I'm so embarrassed, and yeah, every time it's on, I cry. Which moves me on to number 14, which is a bit of a X-Files moment. But in 1977, I saw something very strange in the sky. Make of it what you will, but I always remember my dad was driving me. It was a parents-teachers meeting, and my dad was driving me, and our school was right next to this big open fields, and you know, he wasn't paying any attention, and I saw this huge, and I mean huge, column of light that was just coming down from the sky to the ground. And I mean, I'm talking about maybe, you know, about 2,000 feet high or something. It was really, really, and it was massive, and God knows what it was. I couldn't tell you what it was, but it was very peculiar, and it just left something in my brain. You know, I've never really got over it, because I know that what I saw was strange. It doesn't mean it was an extraterrestrial thing. It might have been a very strange natural phenomenon, but either way it was very strange, and it just made me think about life and the universe and whatnot. And it was at the time extensively written about in the papers. It was in all the local papers and everything, and a policeman saw it, and I mean hundreds of people saw it. It was actually in Earlsfield in London. So yeah, I saw something strange in the sky in 1977. Number 15. Oh yeah, I'm very, very clumsy. If anybody is going to trip over something, it'll be me, or break something, it'll be me. I was doing some decorating for my mum, and I was moving this marble table, but I didn't realise that the tabletop wasn't attached to the plinth bit, and I smashed, you know, she's got some really lovely sort of antique type of ornaments, and I smashed 2 vases, a huge plate, and made a big dent in her wooden floors that she'd had put down. Very clumsy. I once fell through a shed roof. I was actually looking for one of my cats, not here, this is when I was living in Ireland. I was looking for one of my cats, and I climbed up onto a shed, and I fell straight through the roof, and luckily I landed. It was really funny. There was a mattress that was on its this way up, and I landed, and I was laying over the mattress like that. It was quite comical really, but I did scratch my legs to bits. And what else have I done that's embarrassing? I've done the splits in the street. Me shoes were really slippery, and I ended up doing the splits in the middle of the road in front of everybody. I can remember when I was younger, I'm talking about when I was about 20, and I was all dolled up in my skirt and high heels as you was back then, and I was going up these stairs at the tube station, and I got right to the top of the stairs and my heel caught on the top of the stairs and my foot came out and the shoe dropped all the way down to the bottom of the stairs, and all these people were coming up, right? Not one person had to pick my shoe up. I had to go down, like hop down and pick up my own high heel. It was the most embarrassing thing ever. I cringe when I think about it now, and that was like donkey years ago. So yeah, I'm very, very clumsy. And number 16, oh yeah, I was on a first date with somebody that I actually really liked. I'd got to know them first. It wasn't just like oh, let's have a date. I'd got to know them for some months, and I was really liked this person, and it was like a first date, and I was walking down a lovely tree-lined avenue. We were going to this really nice bar, and this pigeon decided to poop over my head, and it, you know, it must have been saving it up because it pooped all over my head. So that was very romantic on a first date, wasn't it? Getting pigeon poo on my head. So yeah, those are 16 things that you might not know about me, but you now do. I don't know if you wanted to know them, but you know them now. And thanks very much for watching. Bye.